You know, like there's a lot of bad things that happen, right? From 9/11.
Sure.
Post 9/11.
Yep.
Probably the worst thing, maybe.
Real ID.
Real ID. Yeah.
All right, lay down.
Take a sit, Stanley. Get ready for the podcast.
Wow. Look at this professional level.
Checker Podski.
Pop. Welcome to Checker Podski. Look how professional our dog is. Thank you.
Thank you.
He's so professional. He went to the park. He's feeling good. Feeling like he's doing great. Yeah, I think the first thing I was gonna like ask about some stuff that like happened, like past stuff. Well, first of all, I wanted to revisit this. We were talking about I thought about this yesterday because somebody was talking about TV job, like where television is shown your job, and I was gonna ask like which job you think has the best TV representation, because they were talking about medical dramas.
Oh, what was that show called? The Pit or something? I haven't seen it yet, but this is what came up, right? The
Yep.
idea of like people are saying that The Pit is the most realistic representation of a ER scenario.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it. I haven't worked in ER. Couldn't say anything about it.
I couldn't say anything about it.
And then people say something about The Bear being like, well, it's too. A lot of like I have different reasons why I'm triggered by The Bear and won't watch the show, but
Right.
that they're not related to actually working in the industry.
Right.
But for the people that have, I think they don't watch it either.
But you watched the first season of
I
The
watched
Bear.
the first season. Yeah.
Did you feel like it was? I guess it's been a minute since you worked in the service industry, but
Well, because I was just a waiter, right? So
Right.
I'm like, I
different
wasn't.
than
If
being a
you're, I
cook.
think you're a line cook or something, you'd maybe relate more to it.
Yeah.
Or if you've just been working as a waiter so much, you probably have a better idea of like how those
Agreed.
people are. I mean, they're always like angry, so there's that.
Yep.
That seemed on.
that was on. You knew as a waiter to be very nice to the cooks, especially if you wanted something. You had to be like super nice. You had to go in being like,
Yeah, that's real.
not even a bother, not even, but like any chance that you could just like
This
heat this up or something,
so
or
I can
whatever.
get my
Yeah.
paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I always felt like, I'm like, oh my God. But, and then sometimes the cooks are nicer to you too than, like I worked at like a country club, and I feel like all this, like the servers were kind of meaner to me, and arguably the line cooks were nicer to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know that one.
That one, I can't say how, I think it captured a certain anxiety.
I'm like, what other jobs are shown like in a fictional type of thing? Because I'm like, a reality TV show is like its own little bubble of things. It's
right.
Not even, I don't know, maybe it is realistic. I'm not sure.
Right.
But usually there's something like where I've watched some of those design type shows. They're like, you have 1 hour to like da-da-da. I'm like, you don't have that. Like you have little time to make a decision usually for design. But the brief is usually, I don't know, you don't have like that little of time sometimes.
No.
Like sometimes you do, but then you're not necessarily, okay, if let's say a client gave me like 1 week to turn this around. It's like, okay, fine, but you're going to get lesser work.
Right.
But if you're on a reality show, it's like, what's the best work you can do in a week, right? So that's a different kind of thing where it's like,
Right.
if you're going to give us the smallest amount of time possible, you're not necessarily going to get the best thing ever. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes, but like if you're...
or maybe not as many options.
That's why I don't think it's based. That's why I think those reality shows, like, even though there could be something like about the brief or sometimes the time crunch, but I'm like, something is sacrificed sometimes in that time.
Yep.
Which obviously for entertainment's sake, you get that stress level up with putting those crunches on it. So
Right. In
so not a fair representation, I don't think.
I'm watching Real Housewives of New York, and in it, like famously Bethany Frankel is like at the very beginning of making this like skinny girl mock cocktails or whatever that like you know what the image of it is, but she asks her friend who is a graphic designer and another housewife on the show to do a design for her, and the design is like looks a lot like Bethany.
Okay.
And then she's like, I ended up going with a different design that's more like what is it when it's like less realistic.
Yeah, abstracted.
More abstract, yeah. And it was funny because she's like, I'm so nervous, she's gonna be so upset. And in my head, I'm like, if she's upset, that's gonna be bizarre, because I feel like most of the time graphic designers are like, yeah, you wanted to go a different direction. It's fine. And that's literally exactly what the housewife said. She's like, oh, you want one that looks less realistic, less like you. That's fine. And she like she was so nervous about it. But I was like, most of the time, if you ask like a designer to do like a logo, they're going to give you multiple things. So she only had the option to give you one kind of style.
Yeah.
And if you don't like that style, it's not like a personal affront. If you
she paying the person?
She wasn't.
Yeah, well,
that was part of it too. I kind of felt bad for Alex.
They're not paying somebody
because she was like, she's kind of like the quirky sort of like weird one that's like, and I just felt like I feel like she was a little taken advantage of, but
that's where I'm like, oh, if somebody isn't getting paid, then it's like a pain in the ass to be like, oh, now I want this and this, and you're like,
and she had her like,
and also
pose for her
like,
to get her the.
Quite often, folks are like. They're like, oh, just like make me a thing. And it's like, okay, there's a process to like make you the thing. So then when you show you something and then you're like, I don't like it. It's like, well, there's a process that I use to get to know like what's going to work well for you versus and something you're going to buy into versus something that's like, I could just make like, there's probably a client that is like out there that's like, I really like your style of something. I don't personally have a style when it comes to design.
Right.
But there are designers that do. So it's like, I want your version of this. It's almost like art kind of thing. So I'm like, there's that, but I'm like,
would you like to get that level, or do you not like to box yourself in as far as design goes?
I guess if someone, I don't think, well, I don't have a style, so they wouldn't be like, oh, just whatever. If it was like whatever you want, then fine, sure.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a hard question to answer.
Yeah. Because you'd have to have like a particular style or something.
Because to me, there's always things that it's like that are going to like, I'm still going to look into. Like, I'm still going to box myself in based on like, okay, what is the demographic? Who is this for?
Right.
Not just going to make something that's like not going to like respond well to anything.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
There's people that do, and some more art related type design work, which is cool.
That's like, so like yesterday.
It's hard. It just depends on the project.
Yeah. Yesterday, at the show, somebody was up and they were talking about an episode of Grey's Anatomy, and this guy in the audience was like, oh, they asked the guy in the audience, what do you do? And he's like, oh, I work with heart surgeons. Like basically his job is to hold the heart for the surgeon.
Wow.
And he's like, and they're like, oh, has it ever gone wrong? And he's like, yeah, like one time like my thumb like went through like the glove or something and like touched.
Oh, okay.
Or something like that. And they're like, and she's like, you're literally describing a episode of Grey's Anatomy.
Really?
Which I thought was crazy because I was like,
so he's
wait,
a liar.
so like maybe, or they just got it very accurate, like something that like that could happen where it's like if you don't have something sanitized, blah, blah, blah. So then it just made me think that I was like, oh, because I feel like there's not really been a great show for stand-up comedy. Like they had Crashing, and I guess Seinfeld like is a little bit.
Yeah, Crashing. He's like immediately like friends with like big names in comedy.
Yeah, exactly. He's like immediately.
I just goofed it. I got a divorce. No,
Mark Maron's my best friend.
I did 2 open mics and now.
Yeah, which I get it because like you're trying to give like these big names like a credit or something on a movie or on a TV show. But
well, I think with Crashing was, I'm not sure if they picked him to do a show, or I don't know how the show got made, but I'm like wondering if maybe he should have produced it or something like that. Like basically they should have had somebody that's like kind of a nobody be coming up in the scene, and it could have just like, I think there's still room for a comedy open mic show that's like
realistic
or more realistic, and it can't be someone that you like kind of know already. I think that's kind of part of it, unless they're like still like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes. Yeah, agreed. I feel like coming up,
and I think them actually being funny is important. Like, I mean, Pete Holmes obviously is a funny person, but like if they were just like I don't know, like whenever sometimes you see comics represented in things and you're just like, well, the person's not funny, and that's actually the most offensive thing about what they're doing. And I don't even know if they are a comic regularly or not. They're like just an actor playing one. And
Sex in the City,
I'm thinking that too. The Che character, not funny at all.
No.
And that person might actually be, I don't know if they are comic or not. They might actually be funny, but then the way that that whole show is just a train wreck. So it's like, it doesn't.
Yeah, let's not. Once we get onto that, it'll be a mess. But
it'll be a whole thing. Very realistically portrayed.
Yeah.
That job.
Yeah. No. It just, I haven't seen enough of Hacks, but so I don't know.
But Hacks is also different too.
Yeah, it's not
like
really
sort of this girl's, again, tethered to somebody that's already famous, like Joan Rivers or something.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's not realistic either. Like a realistic, or I guess the show I want to see is somebody that is like kind of, maybe it is like delusional, but like that, you are doing the open mics for a long time.
Yeah, for a long time.
And just that,
eating
like
shit.
I don't
yeah.
even think you getting famous at all.
No, yeah.
Like
just doing it for the art. Yep.
I don't know how realistic it was, but Rap Shit I thought was a really good show.
I know. I'm so sad
it
that
kind
it's
of like was like,
gone.
I think part of the problem might have been was a slow burn at the beginning, but then once it got the momentum going, I was like, oh dang it, they took it away.
I
And
really
it's probably
like
just 'cause it had like it took a second to like get the momentum going on it.
Yeah.
which is fine, but then it
Because
like
it's kind of based on that. What's her face?
Issa Rae.
Yeah, the song that she's in, it's a Dochi. I think maybe a little bit because somebody
I
said
didn't know
that it like that Dochi like kind of tried to not do as like sexualized, like didn't want to be as sexualized in like their art or whatever.
Yeah.
Like wanted to have it be more like about the thing. And I feel like when you watch Rap Shit, it's definitely about like this
I'm
person.
sure that's
I
like
want it to be about the art, and
I'm
you're like,
sure that's like even a trope though that the women deal with in general.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm sure that
it's not enough to be
I'm sure
good.
it's not like it could be Doji. It could be based on a few different rappers.
Yeah.
I would have to look into it, but that's yeah, that show got good, and then you're like, dang it. But the reason I mentioned it was because it felt like there was this slow momentum around it, ish, because it kind of does go fast. It's not like she's working the mics nonstop. They're almost like, oh, let's just make a track and see what happens. It was just interesting.
Right.
It felt like a little bit more gritty.
I almost feel like Crashing was more about his
but
life.
then they'd kind of go back down. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like you still have the one of them still has a kid, and it's still kind of doing that whole thing. And
Right.
Like, so.
Bring
I mean,
back
Broad
Good
City
Shot.
is probably the most realistic version of people working.
Yeah, exactly. Just being
like it's just like she's like a cleaner at some like gym. I don't even know what
Exactly.
I don't know what Alana does. Like just weird.
Alana was
odd
like working
jobs.
with a kid. I think she has like just random ways to get money.
Yeah.
They try to Airbnb their place. It's like
Yeah,
such
there's
a
something
mess.
about that
Yeah.
that feels realistic.
More
I don't
realistic.
know.
Yeah, that you're like we're all
It's
just doing
kind of
gig economy stuff
yeah,
now,
gig
and
economy, yeah.
nobody has like a real job. And
Yeah, I guess they're not pursuing. I don't know what they're pursuing if they are.
Yeah.
Well, she does art.
Yeah.
The character does art.
yeah, but still, yeah.
It's a little realistic.
But we talked about how Mad Men is like a really great show and probably like the best.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know if it's a good representation for design,
Right.
or like advertising, because one, it's from the '60s.
Right.
But it's if you're gonna have a fictional show represent your design or your career field.
Pretty good
Kind of a
show.
flex.
Pretty good
Kind of a
show.
flex.
I think this
Honestly,
yeah.
though, good job for them because, like, if they didn't have like the set looking as good as it was, it would be like it wouldn't be as cool. You know?
No, it wouldn't. Yeah, the look really
it
sells
would feel like a miss too.
Yeah, yeah. And like not all of it is like about the actual
no, it has
job.
nothing,
Yeah,
nothing to do with the work,
No.
which is
I think that's probably what it is.
my work is. No,
That's how Jess's work is. She goes to work. She drinks all day.
it's all drinking.
She's calling her
and
mistress.
It's all drinking.
She doesn't do anything
cheating,
good.
Running away from
That's right.
Your other identity or something like that.
I have written down here. Do you remember what like Y2K? And do you remember what we were worried would happen?
Oh, with Y2K.
Yeah, like
I just remember there was something with like seeing like I think 60 Minutes or something with like a toaster electrocuting somebody. Like,
no,
like the machines would take over. There was something with a fear of machines taking over with Y2K.
That's so funny. I thought it was just
this
like
would be an interesting prompt for you to do. Is like, what were you guys afraid of, or what were you like told? Like, what do you remember being afraid of? Whether you were like an adult or a child. Like as a child, I think it's more probably warped, I guess, because you don't have the adult mind around it.
That's a good
like,
question to ask.
What were you? What did you? What were the ideas floating around of what was
That you
going to
thought
happen
was gonna
when the
happen?
clock hit 2000, which doesn't make any sense to me. Also, kind of interesting that and like going into the millennia, right? Millennium?
Yeah.
Millennium or millennia?
Millennium? I think both.
Either way, whatever. Going into 2000 was people like they're like the computer could take over.
Yeah.
Now we're just like we're doing crazy stuff with computers, and we're not even stopping.
And we're not even
stopping to think like this thing's gonna take over.
Yeah.
Or just like, oh, how much knowledge can it take on until it enslaves us?
I just saw something that said that this woman was talking about, because like kids in college, which like makes me glad that I went to college when I did, because they're like, oh, kids in college are using like Chat GBT to just write their papers.
Sure.
And
the teachers are just like, all right, I guess I just collect a paycheck.
yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do.
They usually can tell, I guess. But
I feel like they can, or you can do like a AI finder. Like there's like software now that can like tell.
Interesting.
I guess. But then they said that there was like a study that came out that they're like Chat GBT is making people like dumber.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they don't have to use like critical thought.
You
or
don't even
anything.
have to spell the prompt right. Like I'll like quickly be like, summarize this thing, spell the word summarize wrong, and like it's just because I'm trying to do it quick. I know how to spell the word. For now, I know how to spell the word. Eventually, maybe I won't.
Right.
And then
which is so funny because I feel like the humanities were like so like shit on, and they're like, what are you gonna do? Read books and blah blah blah. And it was like, oh, that's like gonna be one of the first things that goes.
Reading
kind
books.
of like, or that the ability to read and write properly. That they're like everyone's like uses Chat GPT, and I thought I was like,
I mean, it's sad, but that Idiocracy movie.
Yeah.
Like where they like are trying to order food or something, and like it's just like a picture, like an emoji basically of chicken or something to like order the food.
Seriously. Yeah. And then I watched this teacher like reading what ninth graders had wrote, and I was like, oh my God, we are so cooked. We're done.
It's over.
It was sad. But anyways, the robots take over, and
I think something like the chat thing is like too fast right now, that there's a way that it probably could be like, okay, cool, we have this tool, like the same as a calculator, right? Like you learn how to do division. There's probably actually still I'm guessing there's still value in understanding what like a division is and how it works,
right?
Other than, I know you can put it in your calculator, but like that understanding, it's almost like, think of it as drawing and stuff, where it's like, why do I need to learn how to do this if I'm not even doing that, and I just want to do this loose gestural thing? There's a thing of like understanding these basic ideas that help get you. I don't know.
No, you're right.
There's something where I'm like,
we had a calculator when we were born, but like they were still teaching us division.
I think there's value in knowing how to do like all of it's going away.
And then somebody made a good point that they're like, oh, we're gonna be like extra cooked
but you know what's happening is like, oh, okay, cool, we got rid of math and reading, but you still have to fill out this like weird paperwork for like taxes that doesn't make any sense,
right?
Like that is not going to go away. Somehow there's going to be some like really hard jargon filled nonsense that is always going to remain. Like, we will have all computer technology, and we'll still have to like fill out some like tax form that could throw us in jail.
I'm not gonna lie, I panicked. I went to USPS this past week because whatever, I couldn't get a real ID. It's a long story, but I went to go get a passport instead, and I had to write a check. And for a second, I was like, "Wait, how do you write a check again?" And I took a moment.
Oh, I bet.
I got a little nervous. I was like, "Wait a second,
Stanley."
And then every single time I try to sign my name, I'm always worried about that.
Why?
I'm always worried that I'm going to get it wrong.
Like what your name is, or
no, just like this signature is not going to look enough like the other signatures.
I was thinking that too.
And I'm like, this is the time they're going to be like.
I'm like, am I supposed to like put more of my name in the name?
Yes.
Because sometimes it's not really that much.
Agreed.
Or even recognizable as letters. And then other times I'm like, well, I better take the time. And they're like, why'd you take the time here? Is this a fake one? Is that fraud?
Is this fake, Jess?
Why'd you not take the time on this one? Is that the fake one? Like,
I get so worried about it. I was like, they're gonna catch me. This is where Caitlin goes to jail. Or I'm like, oh, if I just do if it's too,
I wonder
C or whatever, because like that's but whatever my name is, it too similar to somebody else's that also has C for the first name, C for the end, like
Christopher Columbus signed this.
Yeah, Chris. Right? Is it Christopher Columbus or is it Caitlin Tchaikovsky?
Nobody knows.
You can't even tell. And now I'm forging.
It would
his
make sense
signature.
that he's dead, but at this age. Maybe.
At this age and with technology the way it is, people think dead people are voting.
He might have been reinvented, yeah.
Yeah, people are dumb. So I'm always nervous. So I had to sign my name a bunch of times, and I was like, God, I hope this works.
Speaking of kind of scary technology, I don't know why this made me think.
Oh, wait, one sec.
Oh, go ahead.
Do you remember when you got your social security card when you were younger, and like the moment, because I think they're like, it's only valid if you sign it, and I had signed it like around like 12.
Oh, okay.
And my signature now looks nothing like that.
I have two because I thought I lost mine, so I got.
Oh, that's
one,
smart.
Which one thing I don't like about it is like, never lose this or you're fucked forever.
Yeah.
And it's like, Wow.
Can I get another
Here's
one?
a piece of paper. Although at the same time, it's like never lose this, and like that was safe. And now it's like the internet's just crazy. And it's like people are stealing identities all the time.
Yeah,
and like
I know.
credit cards.
Exactly.
And it's just insane. And it's like, well,
And you
we're
still
all-
can't get the real
we're
ID
all
with it.
cooked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still
Like, if
can't get the
somebody
real
wants
ID.
to get a fake identity or like take somebody else's identity, I bet there's like a system already created where it's just
Yeah,
like a
for
full,
sure.
Like,
Oh,
little, like,
yeah.
well,
You can
what do
take it if
want?
you
like,
want
what
it.
numbers do you like?
Yeah.
Just pick from a list here. Like it's like a vanity social security
Mm-hmm.
number.
Ooh.
Fuck you, real person.
Yeah, exactly.
That's their like thing, but it's like a license plate.
Yeah,
but that's their
exactly.
are there any social securities that are like not numbers? Anyone got some letters in there?
Anyone got some letters
I
in
think
there?
it's just numbers.
Reach out. I think it's all numbers.
Yeah, but then you could do a vanity social security, and then
I
I bet the
think
wealthy
also-
people would really pay extra so their kid could have that. But then if their kid had that, then people could steal it.
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh,
No,
yours
I knew
is-
a guy whose dad stole his identity.
That
and,
actually happens
messed up
a
his
lot.
credit.
That
Yeah.
actually happens a lot. Yeah.
Sucks.
You know somebody that happened to?
Yeah.
Because I remember on a podcast they talked about that. I don't know if it was like
Yeah.
the mom did it or something.
It was the
Parent,
dad, and he's
family.
like, by the time I was 18, like my credit was all messed up. It was a disaster. He took out all these things in my name, and I don't even think the dad was like in his life that much. He just knew his social security number
Wow.
and stuff, which is weird because I think depending on what your age is, like someone's social security number is going to be very close to yours. I think.
Oh, really?
I think that's how it works.
Oh, if they're your kid or something?
I think like
Oh, if you're if you're born in
like
the,
astrology,
like the 80s, everyone has a 3 or a
yes,
0.
starts
or
with that something. Yeah, I think,
or a 555.
or a
No, I'm
555,
got the
or
555 thing going. No, I'm just kidding. So I just give away my social
yeah, you
security
just give
number.
it out. You're like, fine, take me. I have no money.
Yeah.
Good luck. Sorry, you were about to say.
Oh, I was just gonna say like with the like different technology things. I saw something that I think is supposed to be a good thing, but they were like, we're making pigs that can now have kidneys for humans, and I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Makes sense, but I'm like,
It's weird.
maybe call it humans.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about that is like, like the super wealthy people, you're like, why won't like some of these people kick the bucket? It's
Yeah.
probably because they're harvesting organs out of things.
Oh yeah.
Things, meaning
People.
Yeah, people. for
Oh
sure.
yeah. I keep, for some odd reason on TikTok, I keep getting these videos where someone's like, it's gonna happen. June 15th, it's gonna happen. I know it. And I'm like,
Yeah, I saw something that said June 20th.
yeah. I was like,
We'll
stop
see.
feeding me these delusions. Because
Because then I just have a day I'm disappointed. So great.
yeah, great.
Like instead of a regular day, now I have expectations.
exactly.
For this day.
Now I have
Worse.
expectations, and now you ruined it for me.
No expectations. Yeah, that's like everything in May is supposed to be going swimmingly well and things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, let's just stop putting
Let's
expectations.
just relax, guys.
Like whenever they're like, this is the worst month ever for
Yeah.
everyone, and it's hell. And then next month is going to be amazing. It's like, well, it's next month.
it's next month.
It's about the same.
Things are pretty
Feels
bad.
about
They're
the same.
they're trying to defund PBS, guys. It's getting pretty bad here.
I met a couple today at yoga that I think they said they're from Baton Rouge, right? That's a place.
Yeah.
Where's that in the south?
Louisiana.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought, Louisiana. And I was like, oh, why'd you guys move up here? And they're like, to get out of the south. It's like fair.
For political reasons or because of
They
climate
did-
change?
They didn't elaborate, but I assumed it was
Political reasons, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I did assume it was.
I just had to go pee. What, you going to put me in jail for going pee? No. Stanley, in this country, you're going to jail. You're going to go to RFK camp. You have autism. Uh-oh. RFK. And we're back. For real. So I asked on like TikTok if people's parents picked them up for 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
And so I asked them about it, and well, first I asked, and then they responded. They got like 17,000 comments, way too many comments. The thing is, it wasn't a universal experience to get picked up, and it also wasn't gauged on where you lived, because so many people were like, oh, if you're on the East Coast, of course your parents came to pick you up. But that's not true. A lot of people on the East Coast were like, my parents couldn't get to me in time, the roads were blocked.
They were waiting for the
Or they live in New York, there's not going to be a car, you have to take the train, you have to take the bus.
Yes. Okay.
So it wasn't a universal experience. And then this kind of came up, was that people on the West Coast, they're like, we watched it before school.
Yeah.
And then a lot of them went to school.
Half of them are probably sleeping still.
Yeah.
I slept through the towers
I
fall.
slept through the towers falling.
Isn't that crazy though?
It is crazy. Yeah, some people slept through it. Yeah.
Not us. I was already awake.
Some people went the whole day and they didn't know. Somebody said that their college professor sent out an email around noon because he was like, I'm really upset because nobody seemed to take class today seriously because nobody showed up to my lecture. And then the next email was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I just found out. Because if you weren't
interesting. Yeah,
watching TV, there was no news.
Yeah, if you showed up and then
you didn't have a phone, so you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. Not like people are like blowing you up or like.
No, he was like working on his lecture. Happening? He didn't know, so
So embarrassing.
So embarrassing for him. One woman said that she was upset because she had to do a presentation that day. Mm-hmm. She had a presentation to do for class, and she was upset because she didn't get to do it. And she came home, and her dad was like, she was like, God, this is the worst day ever. I didn't get to do my presentation. And her dad got so mad at her that he ground her. And was like,
what?
He was mad at her for not
grieving,
for being for a child because she was like in the 3rd or 4th grade, so she wasn't taking it seriously. She was just more worried about her own.
Yeah, kids don't understand.
Kids don't understand. It was just like such a funny.
Her. God, it's embarrassing.
And then famously for me, I'll say that I was excited about, no, not excited about 9/11, but I was excited when I came home. I was excited.
Today changes things.
The
U.S. is now allowed to go attack countries.
That's right.
And that's exciting.
And that's exciting for Caitlin. No, I was excited for Dad to get home because I was like, in my mind, I was like, wow, now I finally have something to talk to Dad about.
Wow.
Which is a sad thing, but. And then I remember running up to him and being like, Dad, you hear about it? When he came in and from the door, and he was like, just very quiet, and understandably so. But people didn't really explain it. Did you watch it on TV?
I'm not sure if we watched. I feel like we turned it on or something in Spanish class. I saw that when the second thing hit, and I like didn't fully understand what was going on, even though I was like in 8th grade. It was still just like confusing because you're like, what? Like I didn't remember. I wasn't scared or anything, but I was just like, I want to say they turned it off because I think like, and I did read some of the comments on this thing. I think a lot of people, it does make sense because it's like, how do you prepare for something like that, and then what do you do? Because it's like, okay, well, no one's gonna attack our like most of these schools.
No, we lived in them.
Schools are mostly fine unless there ends up being multiple like nonstop. But I think. To me, some of the responses of like, oh, we did watch it or we turned it off halfway through. Like, I don't think people knew what to do. So I'm like, I don't even remember. I want to say they did turn it off partway through.
I want to say that they weren't like, supposed to be showing us.
Yeah, I think they didn't know what to do. And they were like, but then the teacher deserves to know what's going on too.
Agreed.
She has to sit there and babysit all these kids.
Agreed. I think that was the thing they didn't know because Mrs. Stravinsky, I think, was about to be retired. My teacher in 6th grade.
I just remembered her name, Miss Potter.
Miss Potter. Yeah. Hell yeah, you got her name.
Yeah, I was like, I call her Smith, and I was like, it's not Smith.
No, Potter, Senora Potter. Yeah,
that might be before she was married. I'm not sure, but anyway.
She, but Miss Stravinsky put it on, and she was like, I think other teachers were like, we're purposely not going to put this on. She put it on because she was like, this is history. You guys deserve to witness it. Which was tough, being in 6th grade because you're kind of just like, I don't know if we do. But then I didn't really realize somebody was like trying to explain to me. They're like, wait, so your TV had live TV? Because like for some reason, like this kid thought like,
was he younger?
Or, like, he was
younger than us.
Yeah, he was like I think 4 when it happened. So he was like much younger. But he was like, I always thought like the TVs that you guys had were only like VHS players.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was like, that's a good point. They were not. They definitely showed live TV.
If anything, I would say live TV is more accessible then than it is now. Like now,
yes.
I thought that's what he was gonna say was like that. It's like, oh, like what app do you go to like watch the show? Because regular TV is not watching Netflix or something, right? And
yes,
it's like Netflix doesn't give you the
or
news.
like CNN has kind of people going back and forth or whatever, where there was just like live footage of.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it is interesting because I'm like, there isn't other than like a live TikTok or a live Instagram. There's not something that is such live. Raw data or like raw image. One of the comments that was crazy was like this woman said that she was in 3rd grade and she didn't speak English. That was sad. She was like, I didn't understand. She just moved here or something.
Yeah, imagine it's like you're already a kid and you're like, I don't know what's happening as a regular kid. And then you're like, I don't even speak the language. What is.
And so she
what
thought
is
it was like a
actually
movie.
happening?
Yeah. I was like, that's so sad. Yeah. I think the funniest thing was definitely this video of this guy. And if I can, hopefully I can remember it well enough. But if not, then we'll put it up. But the guy, he was, I think, 16 at the time. And he's like, and I had an interview with Johnny Rockets. I called them and I was like, hey.
Very of the time.
Very of the time.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, is the interview still going to go on? Because it had just happened. And they're like, yeah, we're still going to do the interview. Come in for the interview. So he's on the bus.
And they said, yes, the interview's still going on. I said, okay, cool. I'm going to go. I get on the bus. We're driving down Broad Street in Providence, and the bus driver stops the bus and gets up and starts yelling to us about how we're going to war. All you young people better be ready.
Isn't that crazy?
Get your heads out your asses. We're going to war. So I yelled, being the smart ass I am, before we go to war, can we get downtown?
Yeah.
Can we get this bus moving to get downtown?
Exactly.
I got a job interview to go to.
Yeah.
She says, what job interview? We're going to war. Like, lady, I have to get to this job interview. Can you please drive the bus? So she starts driving the bus. I go to get, we get downtown. I'm going to get off the bus, and she says, don't worry about the job. You're going to the war. I'm like, okay, cool, great. Make it all the way into the mall. I get all the way in there. There's nobody in this mall. There's nobody in this mall. I get to the Johnny Rockets, find the lady, and say, hey, I'm here for the interview. Give her my name. I'm here for an interview or whatever. She's like, wasn't your interview for 3 o'clock? I'm like, yes, it was for 3 o'clock, but, I told her everything that was going on with the whole bus lady and just everything going on. All the buses in Providence were kind of running weird because of what was going on. And she said, there's no excuse.
Oh, my God.
We're not interested in someone who's just going to be late to work. I said, ma'am, there was like a terrorist attack.
Yes. Today.
They're like stopping buses. They're doing everything. She said, nope, you should have planned that out. I should have planned out.
That makes no sense.
The freaking Twin Towers getting bombed. I should have planned that out with my route to her job interview. So I didn't get the damn job because I was late because of damn.
I just thought it was so funny that I was like that even in the midst of like a terrorist attack, that like capitalism still like grinds on.
That's a very good
It was
example
so
of, like,
funny. I was dying when he was.
Can't be late. Sorry, I don't care. I don't care if the whole world is collapsing.
If the whole world, it's
No
just
job
like
for you.
absolutely wild to me that he's like, and
I hate people like that. I hate people like that so much. Like the people that are just
and no
like,
one else is in the mall. Like
Right.
it's not like they're like swamped. Like sorry.
Or clearly she could have been like, yeah, I should have canceled this. Like, let's try again. Like, even if if tardiness is a thing, like this is not the date.
Sure.
And also, how do you know people aren't processing this a certain way? Like,
and also it's like a mall, so it's like probably, I mean, not dangerous, but like nobody wanted to be in a place with a lot of people because like they didn't know if something else was going to happen. So it's like absolutely wild. Like, no, come to the mall where no one's at for safety reason. Like that person, like I could picture that person like literally like the mall's getting bombed and she's like, I'll go down with Johnny Rockets.
yeah, me and Johnny Rockets are going down.
We're going down together, like psychotic.
Johnny Rockets doesn't give a fuck about her.
Like, dude, it's not that serious. I was
Johnny
dying.
Rockets would rather, like, in the decay of that mall being collapsed, pull out their like stove equipment than pull out her. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like they're
no.
just like,
they'd be like, this is
worth
more
some
expensive.
money.
Yeah, exactly. No
Not
one's
the
gonna-
worker. We could replace the worker.
I just love how like she's like, you should have planned for that. He's like, I should have
God,
planned.
I hope that woman sees that and is like horrified and maybe different now, but she probably.
I
she's
hope
just, like,
so.
worse.
God, that is
Like,
so
what are you
wild. And the bus driver being like, you're not going to Johnny Rockets. You're going to war. Like that is so funny.
That
to
is
me.
actually very interesting. Like the perspective of like people just losing their shit. Like, cause we're
Yeah.
like, we're in school, we're confused. And that's like most of the people that probably are on TikTok able to respond to it. Cause I'm like, the older folks probably do have things like that where, especially if you're in a city
Yeah.
where it's like bus drivers losing their shit.
Yeah, sure.
Like,
and
everyone's
also if you're
losing their
closer to
mind.
East Coast, maybe.
The homeless people are going nuts. They're probably just like,
See, into the world. Told
Into
you,
the world, right,
They're
sure.
like, I'm right. And you're like, and the religious people are probably going bonkers too.
It was just, and then somebody said too, like the people in Oklahoma City that that because of like the Oklahoma City bombing,
They're
that
like,
they were
"That's
more
it. We're moving.
like I'm not living in Oklahoma anymore.
Yeah.
It was just
No one going to the
crazy.
city
I was
ever.
just like, that is bonkers. And then so many people, most of the people, they were like, or another big trope that kept coming up is that parents would go get one kid and not get the other kids.
Yeah.
That was very interesting. This seemed to happen
That's my favorite
constantly.
kid.
Yeah, there was I don't know if it was like because some of the kids were younger and they're like maybe they'll be more scared. And they were like, I'll go get the third grader. I'll leave the sixth grader in class or something. But like multiple videos of people being like, yeah, they picked up my baby sister and they just didn't
I think
pick
the
me up.
younger kid makes the most sense to me. But it's weird if they go to the same school not to pick up both.
Yes, agreed.
That would be weirder. That's
Yes.
definitely a choice.
Yes.
Like, well, I hope that other kid gets killed here.
Yes.
Get my
One of them,
kid out
a
of here.
girl, like both of her brothers got picked up and then she wasn't. Which again, it's like, and also it's funny because in the comments, like somebody was like, you're trying to be a victim here. And I was like, I personally don't care that my mom didn't pick me up on 9/11. I don't like at all.
I don't have a thought about it. I'm just
No, I don't have a thought about it. I think it's no indication of her
I
love
don't-
for me.
Most kids didn't really get picked up,
Especially
There
where
was-
we
at, like,
lived.
Our school,
No.
but, like there were some.
But some schools, like even, and people were like, oh, it's an East Coast thing. No, some schools were evacuated, so it forced the parents to come and get
Right,
them.
that makes sense.
Yeah, so they had to come get them.
But
And
I
then,
think parents at work, I get why they would be like, well, we're going to keep them because, again, capitalism must keep running. So
Yes.
the parent can't even leave their job because they're forced to
and the
run
teacher
Johnny
can't
Rockets,
leave.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So many people said like, oh, my parents were at work, so I didn't have a choice. Or some of them, they went home with like a friend and then the parent didn't find out
I
until
actually
later.
think, I bet back then, I'd be curious to hear like older people be like, what was the work environment like? Because I bet back then it would have been a little more of a pause. Maybe not go home, but like some sort of pause and acknowledging what's going on. Like Mad Men thing where I think JFK gets shot or something and everyone's watching it on the news, right? So I think something like that could have happened at those jobs. Now it's definitely like, okay, yeah, but we do have to get this done.
Yes.
We do have to get this done.
But guys,
like,
like-
take the time you need, like 5 seconds,
Yeah.
and we have to get this
yeah,
done.
we have to get this done.
Because like the shareholders,
The shareholders do not wait for anything. Sorry, guys.
We have to like, because like when the what's it called, the January 6th insurrection thing happened, it was kind of like, well, yeah, this is crazy.
Wild
What
stuff.
are you gonna do? Anyways,
Yes.
where are those designs at?
Yes.
Like I think that's fucking weird.
It
to me.
is
It's
really
super
weird. The
honestly, even after the I think after the election, they should just have like they won't do it because it's like obviously having people at work keeps everyone from rioting. Because I'm like I would give election day off, and I would
Yeah.
give the day after for if your team didn't win or whatever, you need
You
time
need
to process.
yep.
You should have that time to process.
Yeah.
There's no time to process because if you have time to process, they're like you're gonna riot, and
right.
I mean that's by design. So.
That's by design. Yeah.
And probably working while elections happen.
Yeah, exactly.
By
And
design as well.
I think it was a thing like most people, some people's parents took the time off or could. A lot of them, like I got a lot of things where people said like their parents were either in the military or in the CIA or in something where they had to be ready. So, and then a lot of kids on like military bases, the whole base was like shut down, and they said that they at one kid, like their bus got escorted by tanks home, which I think is absolutely wild to see. Like to be like, yeah, the tank's in front of our bus now. Like that's
crazy. The tank thing's crazy, but the guy being like told like you're not getting the job is crazier to me. Like a tank escorting your that's correct. That's correct. That's the correct level of seriousness. That woman,
especially if your parents are military,
still happening. Crazy.
Yeah.
2, being like you're late, even crazier. Like,
even crazy. And 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes. It would have been different, I guess, if it had been like an hour or something. I don't know, but like 15 minutes is like nothing.
But also, he's 16 at the time, so I'm like, because if I was an adult, I'd be like, "Are you like?" There'd be something that could snap in that person. I'd be like, "Are you serious? Like, what the hell's wrong with you?"
Yes.
Or you wouldn't go to the interview at all, but like you're a kid.
Yes.
Or you need the money, whatever. I don't know. It's just wild to me.
It's just absolutely crazy. And then some of them, like a lot of parents try to shield their kids. They wouldn't like show them. I saw that a lot, like where my dad picked me up, took me for ice cream, took me for Burger King, made sure I didn't see
The world
TV.
is a nice little place.
Yeah, which I think is also an interesting thing. I think the best thing is like the thing that I noticed, because like I have something like 25 to 30 people stitched the video and like talked to me. And I feel like the biggest thing is like nobody kind of sat kids down and explained what was happening. Like some of the kids in the comments were like, I didn't even know what New York was. Like I didn't know where that.
It's my first day here.
Yeah, they were like, I don't know if that's a thing.
Lay of the land.
I didn't understand like what the World Trade Center like. And then one person had like a teacher that like sat them down and like, was like, okay, so the World Trade
Center. Okay, capitalism. It really sucks.
Capitalism.
All of you guys are going to suffer from it.
So everyone's
the World Trade Center is kind of like a
try to get to your interviews.
That.
Yeah,
kind of like the big.
I didn't get that as a kid.
I didn't know that part either.
Nobody explained that to me. Nobody explained what was happening.
I mean, you couldn't explain the idea of capitalism, but the idea of the buildings being hit or whatever.
Yeah. And then one woman
I think that was a choice. For sure. Those buildings specifically was a choice.
Yeah.
It's about capitalism.
And then one woman said that on her birthday is 9/11. So she was like, well,
that's ruined.
So that's ruined. And then, but the next year on
no one ever forgot.
on the anniversary of 9/11, like all kids, you bring in, or like a lot of kids will bring in, cookies or like cupcakes for your birthday. She brought in cupcakes and she got like suspended or she got like disciplined for it. Because they were like, she's not, how dare you like not take this seriously? But I'm like, it's also still her birthday.
Also, why would you suspend her? It's the parents' choice. Not like a kid's out there faking.
But she was like all happy and excited. And they're like, this is a solemn day. And I'm like, it's also a child and her birthday. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, people are so dumb. Those people might as well go work at the Johnny Rockets in my
Yes, agreed.
Like,
they're like,
same.
Go to John. I was like, that is insane. Like level of, I don't know, some kind of weird.
You know, like there's a lot of bad things that happen, right? From 9/11.
Sure.
Post 9/11.
Yep.
Probably the worst thing, maybe.
Real ID.
Real ID. Yeah.
Sorry. No. It's not the real ID. It's just me. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, well, that's tied to the real ID was all the TSA stuff.
Yeah.
So you got someone screaming at you.
Yeah.
You're like, God, if I wasn't a terrorist before, sure.
Yeah.
Now. Sure indoctrinated me.
This is going to send me over the edge.
In this bucket, shoes on. Keep the shoes on.
And you're like,
and then you go to a different line.
Shoes off. Why would you?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Why would you ever think your shoes would be on?
You're like on the ground and their heads like this.
Yeah. You're like, why?
God. Keep them
it's
on.
So traumatic.
Belts on.
It is not standardized across airports.
I hate it so much.
Small
honestly
airports
makes me not want to like fly at all. But I need to just get the thing where you skip TSA.
Yeah,
because I can't.
It's
deal
insane.
With it.
Like
we went
the
to
level.
A concert this week. I went to a concert with some friends and like they had like a security thing there and the people were kind of like yelling at you like that. I'm like, I don't want to be here. Like I don't want to do this. Like I'm out.
Yeah.
Like I don't want people screaming at me. I don't like this.
Yeah.
I get that it's like, oh, let's move bodies through here quickly. I would actually be curious. I would set up two lines. One line that is screamers, right? And one line that just has some patience. And I bet you they move at the same pace. Yeah, somebody's going to fumble with their shoes for a second. That's going to happen regardless.
What about your shoes at the concert?
No, but like you have to empty your bag out.
Oh, okay.
Or, like, have
I was
your
like,
bag
you take your shoes off?
And it's like,
sorry.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
They need to check your bag at the concert.
Yes.
And like have your bag off or something.
Yeah.
And open and unzipped. And it's like, okay, my bag was ready to go. But like, let's say in the instance that it wasn't, 5 seconds for me to unzip
no one's
my bag
dying.
now.
Yeah.
We're fine. Everyone's in.
I always thought too, it's mostly about like bringing in outside alcohol. No?
Well, it doesn't matter. They're checking your bag. Probably for a weapon is my guess.
Okay.
But like, either way, I'm like, okay, 3 seconds longer for the person that didn't unzip their bag. This is not saving like enormous amount of time.
No.
And now you have someone screaming at you. So I'd rather wait another minute longer in that line than have somebody yell at me.
And have someone be like, yeah, take your time. It's fine. You're
and
good.
they aren't like yelling exactly at me because I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything wrong.
I didn't do anything wrong.
But it puts you in that mode of I'm about to do something. I did something wrong. I could do something wrong. I could misstep. And the anxiety, it's probably I don't even know if you had a fine childhood. I'd be curious if you also don't have high anxiety when people are screaming at you.
I'd be curious. Yeah, maybe it's more triggering.
Higher,
yeah, maybe it's higher.
Maybe
it's
higher because you're like
no. I think it's more triggering.
It's definitely triggering.
There's
because you're like, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm gonna do something wrong. I didn't do anything wrong with my ID, and then you like slip in like it's upside down. Like what the fuck is wrong?
Yeah, and then they're screaming at you.
There's got to be people that have lost their they've got to have triggered people in those lines.
Oh
that have, like truly snapped.
Yes.
And of course they take them away and they're crazy, but it's like you are pushing people to the limit. Like
They're-
you don't know what somebody's gone through.
Exactly. There's a great I forgot what the guy's name is, but there's a great this guy has got a great bit about how he's like the whole thing about being at the airport and being like, oh, report suspicious behavior, but like there's nothing more suspicious than trying to act not suspicious.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm going to turn myself in for suspicious behavior because you
Yeah.
start to feel anxious about being
Yes,
like,
I always
am I
think of
doing
that.
everything right? Like,
He's like, it might be nothing. I forgot who the guy's name is.
Yeah.
But he's like, it might be nothing, but a few minutes ago I unzipped my bag and then I zipped it back up. No reason.
no reason.
Pretty
So
suspicious,
funny. God, that is such a funny bit. But it's absolutely true because I feel like I get so anxious. And then it was so funny when we watched that movie. What is it? Carry On.
Yeah.
And the TSA guys
They're like so nice.
Yeah.
They're like
And
the customers are mean to us. Like,
everyone's
what fucking movie.
all the
is this?
customers are
It's a
screaming at the
joke.
TSA agents, and I was like, that is not how it goes.
Yeah, they're screaming because you just made them angry and
Right.
you just triggered them probably.
Yes.
And there probably are some nutso people. Like,
Sure.
bring out the crazy when like someone goes like Karen on you for sure. I
Yeah.
have no
Bring it out.
no like qualms.
But
with
we have to
that.
know.
like when they are being assholes because if you're in customer service, no matter what, there's gonna be shitty people. That,
Yes.
"What? I had to take my shoes off. Like fucking scream at that guy. I don't care.
Scream
Go
at him,
off.
yeah.
But like, let's not be mass screaming at everybody. Like, let's
Yes.
choose it because now that
Yes.
means nothing to that guy.
No,
because you've been screaming
don't
at everybody.
displace the anger.
Exactly.
Put it to the
It's
people who
basically
deserve
like
it.
people that swear a lot. Sometimes it's like you swear all the time. It has less meaning. You're selective about when you have it. Wow,
It
Keon's
really hits.
upset.
Yeah,
she said,
she's
fuck, you know?
really saying it.
So,
I feel like it's a tone thing, but yeah.
but yeah, that movie Carry On. They're like, we're just so nice.
So it's so
we're
mean to
just
be. I'm
trying
like,
to
that
help
is not. They
people
are yelling
get
at
to where
us
they're-
all the time.
We're trying to get people,
And they're
to the
probably
destination.
right. Like I feel like an idiot. But sometimes I think the last time I got yelled at, and this person was like, "You gotta like put," because like in O'Hare, if you put your suitcase on the thing, it gets like it hits other people are behind me, it pushes up or whatever.
Yeah.
And for this, I had to like push it along,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and they're like, "You gotta push it. No one's gonna push it for you." And I was like, I mean,
I feel like we're just like cattle at this point. It's like
Yeah.
the worker cattle.
yeah,
Like, oh look, it's the working class. Yell at them.
Yell at them.
in the lines. Pay them to yell at each other because now if you have the working class ruling
Yeah.
over the working class, then you get to go be free as
yeah,
the wealthy people.
that's true. And everyone's just yelling and screaming at
Because
each
I'm like,
other.
even on the train system, they're yelling at you. They're yelling at the buses. You're always doing shit wrong just to get to your job. Basically, you're
That you don't
I
wanna
feel
do.
like sometimes when I go to work, when I go into the train, I'm like, this just feels like I'm being like a cattle being poked and prodded along the way and shuffled through like a little meat
Yep.
system of like
A little,
metal. And it doesn't help that it's ugly as fuck in the subway.
Yeah.
And it's all like metal and dreary, and there's
They could make it
insane
look nice.
people,
Yeah,
and it's like
exactly.
the only cows that aren't like following along in the pattern are the ones that are like in the corner twitching because their
Yep.
like minds are
yeah,
broken.
exactly,
Like,
exactly. Everyone's
you know
minds
what I
are-
mean? Like those are the cows that aren't going along the thing. They're getting like trampled over because they're like,
Right, right.
Those are the insane
yeah, those are
people.
insane people.
which is sad. It's really sad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind a public transit moment, but sometimes it can feel like, yeah, we haven't invested.
Well, when you're
enough
going to
in
work,
infrastructure,
especially.
Oh yeah.
When you're going to work,
Oh
especially.
yeah, it feels very dehumanizing.
and too after like going to like Europe, and I'm like, they have like, at least in Berlin, they had really nice train
my
platforms where their platforms, because I've been to New York, and New York's not nice either. It's
No.
like the platforms in Berlin were like, they had like a floor, what would you call it, like a flower shop? Yeah, flower
Yeah.
shop, like on the platform. They had a bakery on the platform. I'm like, excuse me, people like piss on our platforms, like in front of you.
Yeah.
In front of you.
No.
Like I would never put bread near that situation. I would never put a flower
I
arrangement.
just think we don't invest in
but it's
infrastructure
so
and stuff.
cute. And then
yeah,
they got cute
so
tile
cute.
and stuff. And it's
Someone
like,
showed one in like,
here they're just like, we need to be able to power wash this thing down.
Yeah.
Once the blood's there. We need
Yeah,
all the
exactly.
Human fluids.
or just like a basic thing of not having. Maybe it's the way that their trains are designed, but they don't have like the little blocks so people can get pushed on the rails. But in a lot of countries, they have like little blocking. So there's only like a certain amount that you can, a little space. So you can't be pushed into the rails as easily.
Oh.
Because like so many people will be like just pushed by other people, probably because of capitalism. They're mad. But anyways, we should invest in
I
that
haven't
stuff.
really seen that
Yeah.
myself, so it must be pretty
Must be
rare.
something else. Must be
think it's
another
rare.
place. Yeah. And then another thing I asked everybody, I was asking people about, and I was going to ask you about this. I guess just like one last thing. The assemblies we did as kids trying to sell stuff. Do you remember that? Speaking of capitalism.
Yeah, they would like pump you up with like, yeah, it is very capitalist thing. Of
Super
like,
dystopian.
look at the life you could have if you only just sold a few things.
Oh my God, when they would come
Dignity
in and
aside.
like with the music and stuff, and they'd be like, hell yeah, like he's like, you sell 3, and then it'd be like, you like sell 3 magazine subscriptions and you're gonna get M&Ms, and it's like, couldn't, like, if I was a parent,
I
I'd
would
be like,
never let my kid do that.
No, I would
I'd
be
be
like-
I'd actually go and talk to the school and be like, I do not want children doing this. I think this
Agreed.
is like messed up.
I get that you're like trying to raise money, but I don't know. It just seems so dystopian, and it encourages kids to go up to strangers.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like a dangerous scenario. I
Seems
wonder if they
so
they
dangerous.
must. I wonder if they still do it or not.
I wonder if they do too.
Remember like the box tops too? Like schools are so fucking desperate.
Yeah, because
Like
we
bring in this
defunded
piece of
all of them.
cardboard
Yeah.
on the cereal box. Like, what the hell are my taxes going to? I
Yes.
thought I was paying for this school.
Yes.
And they're like in poverty, needing box
Make sure to bring
tops
your
and
cardboard
having
in.
Children, like, because I mean, like, again on the subway, you see like it's unfortunately a lot of poverty and type things, but like severe poverty or like maybe abuse or something
Yeah.
with parents, like drug addicts, but like kids are selling candy, you know?
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. I'm like, okay, if this is like an extreme scenario where this child is having to sell candy bars and to strangers, I'm like, what is this scenario where it's like, oh, you're just a regular school and you're making all the kids do it?
Right.
Like, how is that different?
How is
to
that
me?
different?
It's
I don't
not.
know. I don't think it is.
Well, there's a catalog, see, and you have
you-
to order it. The candy's not there right away.
and then people would have to fill
But
them
now
out.
you're competing. Now, if you were selling candy from a catalog, you're competing with the kid that has candy now in his hand. The kid that has candy and has the M&Ms now to
That's
sell.
true.
I'm gonna
I'd buy from him.
If I'm wanting candy, and also that kid seems more sad to me if I'm
Yep.
going based on
That
that.
kid
'Cause I'm
seems
like,
more
the other
sad.
kid's like, well, donate to my school. I'm like, well, this kid seems like they need.
Well,
just
this kid's got a school.
this kid doesn't even get to go to school until
Yeah.
he sells the candy.
Until he
So
sell-
I'm
yeah,
gonna give the money
exactly.
to him
Yeah.
if I have to.
Yeah,
choose.
exactly.
Not you, and you're
You
like,
can't compete
you're
with that.
trying to get the candy that he
No,
has.
agreed. And I feel like the prizes did not fit the thing, like the level of like actual
work.
money being made and stuff. And it was just like kind of crazy because I feel like our parents weren't like gung ho, but like a lot of kids would like be like, yeah, my parents took it to work with them, and then
Yeah,
their work,
that's what
they
happened,
filled
yeah.
it out and got like a bunch. One kid said that like the prize for like being the number one seller was a trip to school in a limousine,
Okay, yeah.
which I was just like, it just seems like too much work. Like it just seems like, couldn't you like just be like, hey, we need funding for our school, and ask? I don't know. Maybe you can't. Maybe people wouldn't answer. I don't know.
Yeah, and then also vending machines are part of that too. Like the reason they have vending machines is because the school makes money off of it.
Someone said, as a parent, it hasn't stopped. I just pay
Oh,
for
wow.
her to get the minimum prize and move on with my life.
Wow.
That's,
That's
so
exactly
funny.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she seems annoyed with it.
She gets
Which I
enough
like.
selling practice with Girl Scouts.
God.
Like
See?
kids don't need to be
Sell
selling.
more products. Sell more products. Bye, bye, bye.
It's so dystopian. It's like, it is just like a level above like children in the
Disgusting.
mines.
It is. It is.
Like children in the mines, children selling candy.
yeah, that is. That's right. Yeah.
Put them back in the mines.
Why stop at candy? You know, like get these kids selling something that actually makes money, like drugs or something. You know,
Someone
like,
said
where's
we
the line?
Someone said we were always selling something: candy, smoked meats, wrapping paper,
Right, wrapping paper.
Paper,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh my god, I forgot about that. That
newspaper
wasn't-
subscriptions.
Yep.
One school I went to sold cookware.
Wow.
It's wild to think about now.
God, that is disturbing.
Someone said, like, why are we going door to door selling stuff? Wrapping paper.
Like, you know what people want less than anything is like some child coming up to them and be like, "Can you buy this? I'm sad." Like that's like the most disturbed scenario.
And this person said the best: selling $500 worth of chocolate for a $30 bike.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's literally what
I mean,
it was.
Obviously, the prizes aren't going to be like more than the thing, you know what I
Right.
mean? They're gonna have that's capitalism, right? You got to be making the profit has to be much
Right.
more than the payment.
It is like
Like you make $500,000
what is it,
for
the
your company, and the
triangle-
company pays you $50,000,
like
right?
an MLM.
Yeah,
it's like
that's exactly what
a
when they-
Ponzi scheme.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of too.
I buy, but then you sell. the
But
product.
you get, and I'm like, what? I feel like give the kids a cut. I'd rather get cold hard cash in my hands.
Yeah, just
because they probably buy this stuff in bulk. Anyways, I just remember one time like them coming into the assembly and they were doing like, hey, and they had like all their music going or whatever, and they're like the grand prize was like blow up furniture. And in my head I was
Yeah.
like, wait a second.
Oh, I remember them being like playing the song like "Simply the Best," and it was like, wow, this is like emotionally, we are just like charged. We're
This assembly could do anything.
yeah,
you left so pumped or whatever, and I'm just
they're
like,
I can do this. Like my neighbor, for us, our neighbors lived so far apart.
yes.
It's like every quarter mile is a house. And you go to like 5 houses, and they're like, no, sorry. God, so embarrassing. I would never make I honestly would go to school and be like, I don't want my child attending these.
Yes.
Like, you could say it's religious reasons. I don't really care what the reason is, because a kid can be like, I'm not standing for Pledge of Allegiance.
Yep.
Which I wonder if that's still happening.
No idea. That's a good
Seems
point.
a bit strange.
Seems very weird. It was weird back then. It's weird now.
Yeah, it wasn't that weird. It was just like, oh, okay, this is how we started. But I'm like, it's kind of like a prayer or something. And
Yeah.
then, anyways, but I'm like, I remember kids not standing for it. Like a few kids, and like the
Hell
same
yeah.
kid that didn't like celebrate Halloween or something, because I think they were like not a Jehovah Witness or something.
Yeah, they can't celebrate.
So that
theirs.
kid's
yeah.
like life sucks. They
Yeah.
can't even celebrate their birthday.
No. Yeah, they
They
can't.
can't even celebrate. What's the point of being alive?
I don't know. God, it's
I'll
the only
celebrate
thing.
when I'm dead. All right. have fun
Okay.
with that.
God.
But like, if that's the case, I'm like, I don't care what it is. I'm like, I don't want my kid exposed to these stupid ceremonies or.
I'm not gonna let my
indoctrination.
kid sell. Like, and it sucks because I feel like as a kid, like you're
I don't
so
want
amped.
I don't want them brainwashed. Like
No.
because like then you have to be like, well, no, you're not doing that. I don't even like the Girl Scout cookies thing. I'm like, why do the children need to be selling these?
Yeah. Why can't I just go online and
Seems
buy the
creepy.
cookies? The cookies,
I only want to buy it if a little child sells it.
or
to
you
me.
can only
What's
do it
wrong
because
with
I don't
you?
think you can buy them online.
Well, they should make.
You
it
have
so
to
can buy
find a
online. What the
child
hell?
that's very on.
Yeah, why does a child need to be involved in this exchange?
No, we need to put
we
a
need
child
to
at
remove the
risk.
children from exchanges.
Yeah. Put it
It's
online.
weird.
We have
It's
internet.
weird.
Like if
Something
you
not
really
right
are
about it.
hankering for Thin Mints, it's not like you're gonna get them. I mean, maybe you could get
Well,
them.
now
right
the
away.
other companies are making it. So,
Yep.
Girl Scouts, that's what you get for having children be your middleman.
It's weird. Girl Scouts.
It is weird. It's not right.
It's not right. What are Boy Scouts selling? Probably nothing.
Remember popcorn after church? They were always selling
yeah.
popcorn. I'm like, no, where's your damn popcorn?
Yeah, it's
Tins
kind
would look kind of cool though. I remember
Yeah,
that.
tins
They
were
had,
cool.
Like some tins, but it was like it wasn't pre-popped. It was just the
Yeah.
kernel. Like, all right, like put some cheese on it or something. You know?
Something, yeah.
Get back to me with it. Caramel
don't think
pop.
it's-
It wasn't pre-popped.
No.
Again, not pre-popped popcorn. But if it was pre-popped, they would have been selling that stuff.
Oh yeah, like tins of
Like
it.
here's some kernels.
Yeah, but it's fast. It's probably
outta
the shipping cheaper to ship the whatever. I don't know.
Gross.
I don't know.
It's just a terrible.
What? It's just like what?
Like the Girl Scouts got cookies, and you guys are showing up with kernels.
Yeah.
You gotta do better. Like smoked
Boys,
meats. I should have done some smoked
there's
meats.
some
with
smoked
that.
meats.
That
That
seems
would've
on
made-
brand
now that
for
would've
the
made
boy.
perfect
for,
sense.
for the boys. Smoked meat. But no.
God, yeah. It was just like so dystopian to make children do that and so dangerous.
I hate it so much. I don't like the idea of a child asking me for money. Like it makes me so uncomfortable.
Yes.
It
It's
actually
so
It's
weird.
not. It's. I guess because there's a thing of like I should say yes to the kid, but it's also like I'm mad that somebody's making a child do this.
Agreed.
Because the child's not doing this on their
Yeah.
own.
I
Somebody
will
else is
say that
behind it.
we did once sit by the side of the road and ask for money. So
Well, we were like joking.
yeah, we were joking.
joking though. Like we watched so much of like Robin Hood and things like
Yeah.
that. Like being like I don't know, kids would play like Princess or something like that.
Yeah.
Where we played like
Destitute.
orphans or something.
Yeah. It was a game. Yeah.
Was a game like if we got candy for Halloween, would pretend that like the shop's gonna go under always.
don't know why we'd
like
play
we're
like
always
that.
like I think because like movies like Disney made it seem like somewhat like you were morally superior if you were poor.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
you're a
the
better
wealthy
person.
people were bad.
The wealthy people were bad, yeah. I wonder if other people. Well, maybe we'll ask if other people
the
played
poor
like that.
downtrodden characters. Like I think of All Dogs Go to Heaven while the puppies are sharing the pizza, and I'm like, they're poor, but like look at how wealthy they are today with their pizza. You know?
Yes, and with love.
And with love, and it's cute. And I'm like, that scene is like height of like the storyline.
Yes, that is perfect. Like you don't want to be wealthy. Like it was always
wealthy
shown as
people
bad.
Were bad.
Yeah, they were bad.
didn't- They were morally corrupt. Still
Yeah.
are, honestly.
They were
Still
like
are.
always like stuck up
Yeah.
and
Like
obnoxious.
Oliver and
Company.
The cat is like The dogs were so
cool.
Like,
but the poodle was lame.
The poodle's like lame because she's not like, even though now as an adult I'm like, oh, I can appreciate her like one song
of course, she's
like
great.
glamour getting ready.
Yes, no, she's great.
It's a power move and it's fun.
Yep.
But also like as a kid I'm like so into like Dodgers gang. I was
you're so
I wanna
cool.
Be in there. Like,
you want to be
pillows that they sleep on. I could do that.
I'm not gonna sleep on a bunch of
so
pillows.
Cool. They'll work together to like help each other out. It's community. It's nice.
And then somehow it all turned away and people voted against.
Yeah, somehow people were like, well, I want to be the wealthy person with no morals. I could be that one day.
I could be that. No, you don't want to be that. No, I do.
No, I do. Yeah.
I want to do that. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, it was very much pushed in television and
movies are still very much like they can tell the story of like what the working class need, but then nothing changes. So the entertainment is there, but no one does anything because nothing does change. Like if you do a protest, nothing changes. So
yeah, I do think I'm thinking of like movies. The princess trope I think is a little tricky because she is wealthy, but she always kind of doesn't start off in a great place.
Yeah, like her power's been taken from her. And now
and now she's not.
She's just always nice.
Yeah, she's just a nice lady, like Cinderella or. I mean, Belle wasn't a princess, but like they always end up in riches.
Yeah, and Snow White's like it seems like she's like helping the dwarves, but in some ways she's homeless if she doesn't. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of like weird. It's like
she's homeless.
It's kind of like what women were going through probably at that time, where it's like
she had to find some men to serve,
or I have to go serve some man until I get a better man. Yeah. So I'll just stick with this dum
these.
I mean, they're dirt bags.
Yeah.
They're hi ho home.
What the dwarves? What are they doing wrong?
I don't know. Their house is a mess. She's
their house
going
is a mess.
there. She
Yeah.
adds like this nice touch. She's like cleans it up. She gives them some manners.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not bad. They're just like bad. She has to really put a lot of work. But it's like, oh, she could,
nice bromance though.
If she could get her own home though, she wouldn't have to deal with all that work.
That's true. She wouldn't even have to deal with them.
She could have just had it be nice to begin with.
Yeah.
And make pies, not have to share.
And not have to share them, or she could sell them.
No, I'm sure it's
for
all
a premium price.
I'm sure it's all nice, but I'm just saying it's interesting that she has to like find another.
She has to find
live with.
Yeah. Which probably the most dangerous situation. If you're a homeless woman, do not go. Do not try to find 7 men that live in the same.
Cinderella's befriending the mice.
Yep.
Which.
The animals, yeah.
But they're nice to her.
Yeah. But
sometimes, you know, in yoga, sometimes we have 4 like of the blocks, the yoga blocks, and I have them stacked. Like it's rare that we have 4, but today I had 4, and I had a blanket on top, and I felt like Gus, and I was like carrying the corn.
With the corn.
Like, it's gonna pop out. It's gonna pop out. It didn't. But.
Anyways, more anti-rich people and making fun of them. Like when I showed you that thing about Sesame Street where they had Grump on it, Ronald Grump, and they made fun of him. I was like, that was back in like the 90s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which is wild to think. But like even back then, they were like, yeah, wealthy people suck.
Did you already talk about this, the idea of cute aggression?
I have not.
Okay,
I have a video about it, but I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to talk about cute aggression?
Well, I just had it written down as one thing, so I was like, did we talk about it yet?
No.
Like where I don't know if anyone else does this. Cute aggression, people probably know what this is, where like you see a cute dog or something and you
can't stand it.
You can't stand it, but like I like
put my teeth.
Yeah,
I say I become Keira Knightley. Oh, you're so cute.
Yeah,
I feel like she kind of talks like that a little bit.
I wonder if Sean does it, our sister. Like,
I wonder if it's messed up my teeth.
Oh, it's definitely messed up my teeth.
Oh, it's definitely messed up my teeth. Yeah.
I had my dentist specifically, like I have a lot of chips on my front teeth that they just do a filler thing on, and then they fix it. It'll just chip off again.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I need to like be able to like put my bottom teeth in front of my top teeth, and so I can like do this thing with.
And he's like, why?
He didn't even ask why. He was just like, oh, okay. So then he changed the shape of it, so it would be easier for me to press my teeth.
Do your cute aggression.
Yeah. Because I'm like, I can't stop doing it.
Because some people do like clench their teeth or something.
I wish
I
just clenched.
Yeah.
The front teeth is like.
I feel like it's got to be bad.
Well, it always chips the thing off eventually. So. Yeah.
What were you thinking about cute aggression?
What was I? I don't know why I thought about that. I think maybe just the fact that I have to go out of my way to like, have the dentist do certain things so I can still
for your lifestyle.
My dentist works for my lifestyle.
For my cute aggression lifestyle.
Dental? I don't know.
I love it.
And then other thing I have written down. Did we ever talk about socks for the left and right feet?
Yep, we did.
Oh, did. Okay.
That's so smart. We agreed that it should be happening.
And then the last thing, because I'm like, I know we're getting at time here, was the idea that we wrote down. Wrote down the idea that there's like a suburban food scene that we sometimes miss out on because we only go to like food stores that are close to us, like Aldi.
We go to Aldi a lot.
We go to Aldi a lot, and then I feel like somewhere else.
Jewel, maybe?
No. I guess we were going to Aldi so much / maybe Trader Joe's or something.
Yeah.
But then we like
Whole
went
Foods
to
a little bit,
yeah. Oh yeah, Whole Foods very rarely, but we have gone too expensive. But like But that, anyways, we weren't going to like a regular grocery store, and then we went to like this one Mariano's. It's like more of a regular America grocery store, and we're like
big Mariano's
the snacks.
on Webster.
I was gonna say the snacks that are happening at that. We like
they are
we have
innovating
been out of the regular grocery store game that we weren't getting like the Kit Kat pie or something like that. Like the stuff they're doing is insane.
Insane.
They're doing like a Rice Krispie ice cream sandwich. It's like stuff they don't need to be doing, but they're doing it. And cereal's like that too. Cereal's like totally like just the craziest concoctions ever.
They're not there is cancer research being diverted into the stuff that they are doing for these flavors because it is insane. We went and we were just, and it was at like closing time too, and we were like going through and we're like, "Did you see this?"
It's like,
and they're like, "Please leave the Mariano's."
Yeah, they're like, "Can you leave? The store's closing." I'm like, "Yeah, but you guys put all these new products out because I haven't been here for like a year." Almost.
Exactly. It was
it's more just fascinating to see.
So fascinating.
You know what it reminded me of is like when you're at Trader Joe's like during the fall and they're like have pumpkin literally everything. Like literally every meal you could have has pumpkin in it.
Yep,
like
exactly. Everything you can think of.
The breakfast you could have pumpkin.
Pumpkin
everything.
gum.
Lunch
all
pumpkin.
All pumpkin.
Pumpkin like ravioli. So it's not like necessarily sweet, but
no,
in everything. But
it's
that's like
everything.
what they're doing with like the Kit Kat nowadays.
Oh yeah, Kit Kat,
That's
Oreo.
what it seems to be.
They're putting Oreo in everything.
Yeah, they haven't done like a savory yet, but it's probably coming. Terrifying and kind of gross.
Terrifying, kind of gross, and probably
Like,
I'll probably buy it just to try it.
It's like an Oreo ravioli. You're like,
sounds healthy.
Okay. Okay.
Disgusting.
So gross. Anyways, keep the innovations coming.
Keep the innovations
We'll keep
coming.
trying them. That's it for Checker Podski. Thank you for listening.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to our nonsense. If you like it, follow Checker Podski on all platforms. And if you want to support my stand-up, follow me at Caitlin Check. If you want us to talk about something or need to air out your grievances or family secrets, feel free to comment or email us at checkerpodski@gmail.com. Shout out to our producers and to Alex Oliver for our Checker Podski jingle.